Yo, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crunch Time Podcast. I'm here joined with Brett, and today we're going to be talking about NFL free agency.
Yo, what's up? It's Riverside the Great. The Steelers didn't do anything in free agency besides re-sign Juju, but I'm here. I'm happy to be talking about the moves.
Yeah, so lined up today, we're going to be covering our overrated and underrated signings, as well as just asking each other a few questions about free agency. And we'll also be going over the winners and losers of free agency. So do you want to start with your underrated signings?
I'll go ahead. So top 5 underrated signings. But before I get under it, I changed the background for today's episode. It is Sherman in a Patriots uniform.
You love to see it.
But anyways, number 5 on my underrated signings list, we have Corey Davis to the New York Jets. That is a very big upgrade over Brashard Perriman. And he is a valid receiver for the new quarterback they draft to throw to.
Dude, that's what I was thinking. I was looking through potential overrated signings, and I almost put him because I was like, they just traded away Sam Darnold, and I'm like, I forgot they were second in the draft, and so I was like,
yeah,
it could be overrated if they don't have a quarterback to throw to them. But yeah, it's definitely a good signing for them.
Hey, Jamison Crowder, Denzel Mims, and Corey Davis now. That's a solid core.
Re-sign Crowder?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they got a solid. Yeah, you're right. Who did you have next for?
Did you want to do yours?
I can go ahead and do one of my. Okay, so this one, my first overrated signing is Philip Lindsay. I know it kind of went under the radar, in a way, but in my opinion, I just think the signing doesn't really make sense for the Texans. Philip Lindsay's a great player, but it was just a weird signing by the Texans. I would have loved to see Lindsay on another team that could have used him more. They have a very crowded backfield. They even signed Mark Ingram, and they already had David Johnson. And I just don't really get what Lindsay is going to do. They're not going to be a playoff team, obviously, with lots of uncertainty with Watson, whether he's getting traded and all the case against him and all that. But just, I don't know. I don't get the point of the signing.
Logic is telling me that Lindsay is going to be the starter. But do you know how much they gave up to acquire David Johnson?
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins. And what did they get? Johnson, a second round pick?
Worst trade of all time.
Yeah, that was bad.
But yeah, I agree with you on that one. That kind of was a weird signing.
I think Lindsay would be the starter. Maybe Lindsay and Johnson or Lindsay and Ingram. I don't really know how they're going to balance it because Johnson was their starter last year. But
yeah, it's weird.
All right, who do you have next?
All right, at number 4, this has a little bit of bias to it, but I have Kalyn Bellage to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
And there's 2 main reasons why. He's never had a good offensive line, considering that he's played on the Dolphins and the Jets and the Chargers, and he's never really got a shot before to have this much carries. And the Steelers could give him that shot because we really like the underdogs like that.
Right.
Nobody knew who Anthony McFarland was and Benny Snell were until we drafted them. And look at them now.
That's true.
So that could be with Kalyn Bellage too.
So Benny Snell would he'd serve as their backup then. Is Bellage going in with the intention of starting?
I'm going to be honest, I have no clue. And I hope that we do draft either ETN or Najee Harris. But for now, It looks like Bellage could be a complimentary or starter.
Yeah, that was one of the questions. I know I'm kind of jumping around, but just because we're on this topic, one of the questions I prepared for you was, do you wish the Steelers had done more in free agency? And I was asking you, what are they going to do about their running back situation? Because I saw they signed Bellage, but I was I don't really know if that's meant to be as a starter. I don't know.
Well, the main objective that they did in free agency was sign Juju back, and they didn't really have a lot of cap to make the other moves. But I guess I'm happy with what they did.
Yeah.
And then for the running back problem, you could go running back in the first round at 24, but that's going to be really high to take one. And side note here, the last time they took a running back that high, it was Rashard Mendenhall who sucked.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think running back I think it's kind of a common opinion, but a running back's the most replaceable position in the league. You can just cycle through.
Exactly.
Someone will work for you each week. It doesn't really matter. You obviously have your superstars like McCaffrey and Kamara and Derrick Henry that are just very good runners, but a lot of the time you see the Patriots cycle through 5 running backs. They had James White, Sonny Michel, Damian Harris, Rex Burkhead, all these people, Yeah, but we can get back to the underrated, overrated signings.
All right, you're next on overrated.
Oh yeah, I had Bud Dupree. I mean, you suggested this one to me, And was he just like not that good in the Steelers? Like,
All right, I'll give my explanation here. My explanation. The only reason he got into the backfield for all those sacks was because they were double teaming TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward.
that's true.
And it took him 4 years to become the player that he became.
Wow.
He had one good season and he got like a huge payday.
That's what I was saying. He got way overpaid. I looked and the Titans gave him 85 million for 5 years. And I'm thinking like that's like top tier money right there. And I feel like you don't really hear about him up there with like the big names like TJ Watt or Khalil Mack. Like, you know, I don't know. It's just not worth the hype.
It wasn't. I was not a Bud fan. I'm going to be honest. I used to call him the chaser because, I mean, I'm a Steelers fan, right? He would just chase after the play every single time.
That's so funny. It's a good nickname.
All right. Yep. But anyways, number 3 on the underrated signings list, I have Sammy Watkins going to the Baltimore Ravens.
I like that.
And the reason I have this is because the Ravens offensive coordinator, Drake Roman, actually used to work with Watkins in Buffalo, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
They had like their old wide receiver coach is also on Baltimore now, so it made sense for Watkins to go there. And he could be another weapon for Lamar. Hopefully Lamar can develop his arm some more. But before that, the only like legit receiver that they really had was Marquise Brown. So I think Watkins adds a lot more to the table.
No, I agree. I think that's a very underrated signing. And plus, I think Watkins had his best years in Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken, because like he was kind of like the wide receiver 2 or 3 for the most part. But I think, yeah, the Ravens needed like wide receiver help. I still think they're lacking in that position. Like I don't think Watkins is gonna like dramatically turn it around, but he's definitely gonna help like next season.
It's just a shame because they could have got Gallaudet or Smith-Schuster, but they got fucking Sammy Watkins. Sorry for the language.
I remember the Ravens were just swinging and missing like all the time, like on all the free agent wide receivers. Even if they could have got like Aguilar or something, but they didn't. Speaking of a Raider player, my next overrated signing was Kenyon Drake. I think it's pretty overrated as a player and also as like a signing. I think it's cool the Raiders now have like 2 very solid running backs. Like I'd say they're top 20 running backs, maybe borderline, both of them. But like, I mean, we love to make the Drake and Josh jokes too. But I think they have Josh Jacobs, who is like solid, but they're both like a little overrated too. Like they're kind of like in the same like tier, I guess, where it's like they're not like at that superstar level, but they're not bad. But it's also just like they're not just like worth. I keep saying this, but like they're not worth the hype. Just I don't know. It just doesn't like running back wasn't a huge necessity for the Raiders. And like with Jacobs, like I think you could have any other backup could have been serviceable for them. But just paying, I don't know what they paid him, but whatever amount they paid him, Kenyon Drake just I don't know, it's not worth it.
I think they paid him 11 million or something. We were talking about this the other day in one of my fantasy leagues. But if I'm remembering correctly, he got replaced last year by Chase Edmonds.
I know it happened like down the stretch because Kenyon Drake, I think he was on Miami and then he got traded to the Cardinals. I think like end of the 2019 season, and that's when he like balled out. He had like a 200-yard game or something. Like he had like 5 really good games in a row. I think that's what kind of earned him the starting job the next season. But I mean, I guess it proves for a little bit of like you could play well for a little stretch and you could make bank, but I don't know.
Yeah, I got that. And number 2 on my underrated signings list, we have Ryan Fitzpatrick to the Washington football team.
Interesting.
This might surprise you, but I think that he's an upgrade over Alex Smith. He's never really been able to stay anywhere, but this is going to be like the home stretch of his career, so maybe he could just stick it out with Washington for a couple of years. Right. But if you look at their quarterback struggles from last year, they did not know who they were starting on a weekly basis. They went from Haskins to Kyle Allen to Alex Smith to Taylor Heineke. But I think Fitzpatrick's going to be the guy. Taylor Heineke is the GOAT.
That's very interesting you put that because this is controversial. I had Ryan Fitzpatrick as an overrated signing.
Ooh.
Trust me, like I love Fitzpatrick and he's always like, he's proven like the doubters wrong and kind of like overexceeded his expectations and all that. But I just don't get like the direction Washington is kind of going with this signing. You know what I mean? Like you saw they made the playoffs just because of a bad division last season and that they have like nice pieces. I just feel like they should be like trying to tank and head for the lottery to get a new QB to kind of start over because they have like young guys, like their team's young. They got Chase Young, Terry McLaurin, like they have good guys like that can help like contribute to a winning team. I don't know to get the point because Ryan Fitzpatrick it's gonna keep them mediocre, like he's good enough that he'll do that. But I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
I'm going to be honest. I think Heineke can sit a year behind Fitzpatrick and then take over.
You think that? I mean, he could even start this year. Like, what if Fitzpatrick like fails in training camp or something? They don't like what they see.
He could, if an injury happens, Taylor Heineke could take over and they could win the division.
Yeah.
So was that your like next one in order or what?
No, I had two more, but so you can go ahead then because I just covered one of mine.
Okay. Well, then this is my number one on my top 5 list for underrated signings, and it also involves the Washington football team. This is Curtis Samuel.
Okay.
And look at their depth chart after Terry McLaurin before the signing happened, and there was nobody.
I know.
Like Cam Sims, I like Robert Foster. That's my guy. Local, played at Central Valley High School something like that. Fun fact about Robert Foster while we're on the topic: a guy in my fantasy league named Matt, had to guard him. Matt was a senior, and Robert Foster was a sophomore, and he allowed him 0 catches for 0 yards.
Really, that's pretty cool. That's like
and then, but here's the twist. Robert Foster returned 2 punts for touchdowns also in that game.
Dude, that's crazy because that's so like rare. It's very rare.
My guy Matt shut him down, but he shut up on special teams. Wow. Anyways, let's get back on the subject of football team receivers. Curtis Samuel reunited with former head coach Ron Rivera and Taylor Heineke. Ron Rivera seems to bring in a lot of the old Panthers players now that he has that power on Washington. I thought he was going to do that with Newton. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah, he was like the favorite to go there, like Newton to the Bears or the the Washington football team.
But hey, he also did that with Kyle Allen, the QB. That's why. That's
true. Yeah,
he's only there because of Rivera. So,
I mean,
Curtis Samuel could be familiar with the system.
Exactly. Like it makes sense. It makes it a lot easier, opposed to like trying to teach a QB a whole new system. Like just bring him in. They already know what the deal is. I'm happy the Patriots re-signed Newton, but I don't know. I had 2 more overrated signings. One of them I just wanted to touch on. I feel like everyone kind of agree on this. Patrick Peterson. I mean, he isn't the player he once was, and he still got paid $10 million as a cornerback, and that's just a lot. But I didn't really have too much on him. But another one, this could be controversial.
What? Let me guess before you say it. Andy Dalton.
No, okay. I would have put him. Yeah, I would have. That would have been a good one to have as overrated. Maybe instead of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Actually, I don't even know because no one's really predicting. I don't get what the Bears are doing because I feel like Mitchell Trubisky is better than Andy Dalton. I don't know. Like people don't know, but Trubisky has a winning record in his career.
Actually.
Yeah, but I mean he does get carried by the defense, but still, I don't know. Okay. Do you want to take one more guess before I say it?
One more guess. Can you tell me like what division?
This might give it away. I'll tell you it's in the NFC. I'll tell you that.
All right, I have my thing pulled up right now. Hold on.
I don't know. I feel like not too much happened in this division. So
I don't know. Here you can just say it.
Kenny Gallaudet.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because so hear me out. It's Kenny Gallaudet is not the reason that this signing is overrated. He's like a top 15 wide receiver, like I'd say about, and he's like a beast on the field, right? With Stafford, he's really good. And he's coming off like an injury-riddled season. I'm sure he'll be healthy again when the season starts, but he can't produce if Daniel Jones can't get him the balls. You know what I mean? Like
I agree 100%.
What's the point of having a really good receiver if your quarterback can't throw you? Like I feel like your quarterback should be first, and then you build up your offensive weapons. So it's not Galladay's fault I put him on this list. It's Daniel. It's just up to Daniel Jones getting him the ball or not. So.
Oh yeah, I agree. All right, so should we move on to the questions that we have for each other about our teams?
You can go first because I asked you one of the ones about the Steelers already. So.
Oh yeah, true. All right, my first question for you is, which New England Patriots running back will receive the most carries in 2021?
Right, that's interesting. I think Damian Harris will. It's tough because so James White, they're not really going to hand the ball off to. Like they'll use him as the running back like to catch passes out of the backfield and stuff, which I wish they re-signed Rex Burkhead because he also, I think he just fit better with Cam Newton than James White did. Like James White was perfect for Tom Brady, but I think Rex Burkhead fit really well with Cam Newton. And I love James White, but I think there's a way they can both coexist there. But in terms of running the ball, I think Damian Harris is going to kind of get like the lead role. And I think Sony Michel will probably be like second right behind him. It's hard because I think Damian Harris was out the last few games and Sony Michel was like doing really, really well, which, and I'm sure as Patriots fans, like they still want to give Harris the ball. And I do, like, I agree. Like Harris was always like a really good runner. He was like number two, what is it, like the Pro Football Focus, like the PFF grade, where they like grade the running backs or grade all positions. He was like number two. He's averaging like 5 yards a carry. It was like Harris is gonna be really good, but I think yeah, Harris is our guy, but Michelle will receive a good chunk of carries too.
That's interesting. I agree with that though. I'm just surprised that Harris was ranked that high by everyone.
I know. I think
I mean, like if you look back at his college team, he wasn't even the starter. Josh Jacobs was.
Really?
Alabama Crimson Tide.
I didn't know that. I think it's just because he was so efficient every time the ball was in his hands. Like every run he had was just a good run. You know, even if he wasn't breaking off for 25 yards, like he'd get you at least like 3-4 yards every single run. And there was
I watching him. I watched him in that Cardinals game this season. Yeah, he had a pretty good game. That was like probably one of his best games.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this is true, but I feel like I remember hearing that it took him like a few games to actually have a run that went for negative yardage too. Like it took him a bit just to get pushed behind the line.
I believe that.
Yeah. So, my question for you is: with the Colts acquiring Carson Wentz, does their ceiling rise or drop compared to last year with Phillip Rivers?
This year, like just this year,
this upcoming upcoming season.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if it's going to rise or decline, like in just this specific season. But I think that for the future, their record will continue to trend up because obviously Rivers didn't have like any years left in his prime, and I feel like Carson Wentz could definitely turn things around. He is a lot younger of a QB than Rivers was, and plus he is working with Frank Reich, who was the offensive coordinator in Philly when he was there. So he might be familiar with the system. But yeah, their defense probably stayed the same. I'm trying to think if they signed anyone. Did they sign any big names?
Well, I know they got back like T.Y. Hilton, and I don't think they really did too much else.
Well, if they can have like Micah Pittman and all their receivers healthy for a season, then you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say they're going to get at least 1 or 2 games better.
So
maybe like a 12-4 record.
10-6 last year, I think, or 11-5 maybe.
They were 11-5 last year. I'll give them 12-4.
Okay.
Because I mean, you got the Texans who are like a disaster right now, Jaguars who are tanking, and then Titans is the only competition.
Exactly. No, I agree. I just think Carson Wentz is a little bit confusing because remember, he was an MVP candidate a few years ago, and he was playing really well until he got injured. But then he came back, had like played decent, and then he had like last season where it was just like he played like really bad. Didn't he like lead the league in interceptions when he was actually starting? It's just weird to see because you can partly blame it, like put blame on the lack of receivers and targets like he had around him, but you can also like some of those throws are Carson Wentz's decision in a way. So
he has a fumbling problem too.
Yeah, he's got a big turnover. It's like him and Daniel Jones, a big turnover issue.
All right, you want me to get my next question ready?
Yeah, sure. Fire away.
All right. At any point in this draft, should New England take a quarterback?
Dude, I was thinking that. I was looking at the draft order today. We're 15, and I'm like, do we really go quarterback there? Or like, I think we go quarterback or front seven. I think we should get a quarterback because as much as I love Cam, like I think he's just a good leader. I just think he's really trust me, I love Cam. Like I'm so happy we re-signed him, and I like to see him play and succeed. I just think he's kind of holding back our ceiling as a team because we obviously have the pieces. Like you can tell, like we had pretty much the same team, and then just went from Brady to Cam essentially, and we dropped like 3 games. And there was also a few games like where I knew we could have won down the stretch. Like there was a game against Denver we lost, and then there was a game against Buffalo we lost. We were on like a game-winning drive, and Newton fumbled. I mean, not his fault. Like it happens. Like I don't think he really fumbled too much. in the Seahawks game, we could have like won. Like just to think, if a few games could have like went our way at the end, we could have been a wild card team last season. I know like 7-9 doesn't look very good, but we were like ever so like close to being like 10-6. But I think definitely drafting a quarterback would sorry to get back to your question. I just went on a tangent there. But getting back to your question, I think drafting a quarterback would be a smart idea at number 15, as long as there's still like a top tier quarterback left there. Like I wouldn't be opposed to getting like Mac Jones be still there at 15. I don't know if he will be, but I think that would be good because run Newton for another season. Even that's the thing. Even if Newton like balls out this season, like I don't see him balling out, but I think he's definitely gonna be better than last season. He's gonna want the bag in free agency after if he improves his play. And so I think just having Mac Jones sit behind for a year and then come in next year or someone like Mac Jones and start. But then also if Newton is like really playing poorly this season, Mac Jones could even come in too and see what he can do. So
I think that they could get Trey Lance at 15. He's like the most Cam Newton-ish kind of guy out there, honestly, like with the whole scrambling.
yeah, I don't know, because I don't know if that's the route like Bill Belichick is trying to go with the system, you know? I think Cam Newton was just kind of like a shot in the dark more so. And then they kind of built the whole offense around him with all the QB options and whatnot. But I there's a chance Trey Lance is still there at 15. I'm not too sure. I'd honestly prefer Mac Jones though. I think he like Bill Belichick has the connections with Alabama. Yeah. Did you
All
want me
right.
to ask my next question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or it's my final one because I already asked you about the other one, but who
Yeah.
do you think the Jets take at number 2 in the draft, assuming Trevor Lawrence goes first?
Give you a 2-word answer. Justin Fields.
Okay, I like that. No, I
But
agree.
just expanding on that, though, he is one of the most accurate guys in the draft. But you know what? It could be Zach Wilson. It could be Zach Wilson.
I agree. That's what
I'm not sure if there's any like relation there where like if there's any receivers that like played with either of those guys in college, because it would make more sense like that.
Right.
Like you know how there's the rumors out there that the Bengals would take Jamar Chase because of the playing Joe Burrow or
Right.
playing with Joe Burrow at LSU. I'm not sure if there's any of that going on with the people at New York.
That's
But
a good point.
if that is, then they would probably take the guy who relates to the player.
Yeah, that's smart. But I know the 49ers traded up to be at number 3. So I think
Dumb move.
but you think dumb move? Really? Why?
Yep. They gave up 3 first-round picks to move up 9 spots.
But trust me, like that's could be like a franchise like changer right there.
Boom or bust, I guess.
Yeah. If it pays off, pays off. But I think the 49ers are gonna take one of Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, whoever doesn't get taken at 2. It's probably what's gonna happen. But coming back, it's random, but the Joe Burrow thing you're talking about, how they want to get Jamar Chase. I saw this like meme, and because you know how the Bengals O line is so bad, and Joe Burrow like obviously did he tear his ACL? I think like
Yeah, towards
he got
ACL.
sacked or something. But there was this meme, and it was like Joe Burrow, offensive line, receivers, and it was like a green like check or something because like they drafted no line, like they hypothetically draft no lineman, he's getting blocked like for so he can throw the ball. But then there was another one. It was like Bengals draft Jamar Chase over offensive lineman. It shows like Joe Burrow and then an X through the O line, and it's Jamar Chase, and it's like the ball doesn't get to Jamar Chase because there was no O line. I don't know. I think they should go O line, but I like that how they can make connections like that.
Their starting left guard is Michael Jordan.
No way.
I'm not even kidding.
The owner of the Hornets?
The owner of the Hornets, who played basketball on the Washington Wizards.
The guy from Space Jam?
The guy from Space Jam from North Carolina. The one that takes stuff personal. But I'm not even kidding. The Bengals starting left guard is named Michael Jordan.
That's so funny. What are the odds?
Anyways, should I get into my final question here?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I made all mine Patriots related. So this one is also
I
like that.
because I can talk a lot about the Patriots.
All right. Should the Patriots trade wide receiver Nikhil Harry?
Okay, that's a good question. I don't want them to. Like, I know a lot of Patriots fans are probably done with him, like are out on him, but I see the talent in him. Like I see it. He makes like great catches in traffic. I just don't think we're utilizing him like well. I think we kind of force him into this position where it's like he's got to run all types of routes, but he's like the guy to win in like a one-on-one ball. There was a play against the Rams, and Newton just chucked it up like 30 yards, and Harry jumped up and just grabbed it. And there was a touchdown against the Chargers where he was like in tight coverage, and Newton whips a bullet and he like grabs it up here. It was like a tough catch. Like not many receivers would make that catch. And I think he's got the skills. I just think obviously he'd probably fit better in another system. I mean, who knows? We kind of have like a bunch of wide receiver twos and threes this season. Like we don't have a true standout. I guess Edelman, like a couple years ago when he was healthy, like he'd be a lower tier wide receiver one. But I think like with Aguilar and we have Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers is going to be solid again. I don't know. It's tough. I don't think we should trade him. I want to give him one more chance. Like I think any first round pick should be given 3 years to prove themselves. And then even if you're like as bad as Harry has been, like you should still get that chance. But I don't know. I don't want him to get traded, but I know like Washington was linked to him.
It just sucks that he was a first round pick and they took him over DK Metcalf, like Deontay Johnson.
I know. And AJ Brown, right? If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
AJ Brown. Yep.
And that's the thing though, but you don't know, we don't know how. I'm sure DK Metcalf and AJ Brown would have been just fine in our system, but I just don't know how much better. Like we may not have utilized them. But it's just I see the talent there with Harry. I want to give him another chance. I hope we don't trade him. That's what I gotta say about that. Do you think could you see them trading Harry?
I don't know. I feel like they could get at least something out of him, but you're not going to make profit out of it because you took him with a first round pick.
Exactly. That's why I think I'd rather give him another chance this season than just ship him off for like a fifth round pick or something, like just for all that talent to go away. Because the talent's there. It's just the utilization needs to be there as well.
All right. Should we get into our winners and losers of free agency?
Yeah, you can start if you want.
All right. For my number one winner, biggest winner of the whole thing, didn't do too much outside of like re-signing the guys they already had. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Same.
They re-signed all 22 starters, offense and defense, and they're looking to make another postseason push. They can get even better, with the draft capital. Maybe draft some other like quality depth players, I guess.
Exactly.
The only two people they didn't get back is Antonio Brown, who isn't considered a starter because he came on board in like week 8 or whatever. And then they also didn't get LaShawn McCoy back, but he didn't even get a carry.
Right, in the playoffs, I think he didn't play.
But Leonard Fournette, that was huge. Leonard Fournette getting him back.
I know.
Same with like who else did they get back? Chris Godwin.
Yeah, Gronk too.
Huge.
And Levante David, Shaquille Barrett, I think, too.
Yep.
Yeah, I had them as a winner because they didn't really do much. But I think if you're rocking with the same team, like you're automatically a Super Bowl threat again, in my opinion.
For sure.
I was going to ask, after we go over winners and losers, we should briefly touch on like the free agents that haven't been picked up yet, like Antonio Brown.
Okay.
The second one. Who did you have as your second winner?
Second winner, I actually had the New England Patriots.
Okay, same.
You like that? Okay.
Yeah.
The third winner is different though. I think we're gonna have different ones for that. Yeah. But anyways, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, Matthew Judon, and a lot more quality depth players. Oh crap!
You're good.
I'm on 1%, so baby, grab the charger. But yeah, Hunter Henry and Johnny Smith, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, Matthew Judon, even more players.
Right.
You're getting Hightower back because he sat out last year because of coronavirus. Right. I can't say that on the video. You have to mute that.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. The C word.
No,
he had the corona, so he sat out the whole season.
The vid. No, that's funny.
But yeah, that's why I have the Patriots as my second winner. They got better as a team all around, more depth.
Yeah, I had them as a winner because obviously it's hard to look because some people may be confused with the direction of the team because a lot of like these signings are banking on the fact that Cam can produce for us, which is why I think we should get a quarterback in the first round as like a security blanket if Cam can't produce, but I think they could be a legit threat if Cam plays well. And that's the thing. The only concern people really had were like, oh, like we didn't get a wide receiver one, like a Gallaudet or someone like that, or Juju. But I think like we didn't really need a wide receiver one because we have a bunch of solid wide receivers. But I think our offense is going to be run now through Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Like they're like our wide receiver ones, even though they're tight ends.
It's like the Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez.
Exactly. Yeah, they're bringing that
killing.
back. Yeah. I didn't have a third winner because I don't know. I didn't see too many winners, but I'm gonna think of one after you're done. You can
Right.
ask your third one.
I have the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Because of JJ Watt. That's about it.
Really? Oh,
they also got AJ Green. Green. So that's a solid core right there. DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, and AJ Green. Fitzgerald still hasn't signed yet.
He hasn't signed?
Fitzgerald hasn't signed yet. He might retire.
I don't want him to. I want him to win. Like if the Patriots don't win this year or the Buccaneers, because Tom Brady, I want the Cardinals to win it just for Larry Fitzgerald. Like he's such like a well-respected guy.
Yeah, for real.
I don't know.
He's one of my favorite players too. Pitt legend.
Yeah. No, for
you
sure.
Got a third winner then?
Not on the top of my head, but I guess a winner in a sense is for maybe the Cowboys. Fine, like they didn't really do much. I don't think they're improving, but it's just the fact that they finally got Dak Prescott under contract. Like I think they're gonna need to improve their defense, and they should have signed to be over the defense. I don't know if they don't have cap space. I don't really know what their situation is. I didn't do too much research on this, but I think the Cowboys just for getting Dak Prescott back, and that could just be a shot in the dark. And I don't know. I don't really know what else they did, but I don't know. Just for him to finally get a contract is a good thing for them.
That's valid. Do you have a loser then?
My first loser, I had the Raiders.
Kenyon Drake.
What? Yeah,
Kenyon Drake.
Partly because of Kenyon Drake, because it's just a pointless signing in my opinion. But they also lost like 3 out of 5 of their starting linemen. Like they just traded them for picks, and I'm like, I don't know why they're making these trades. Like what's the point of getting Drake if you're not gonna have the O line to block for them? Like if the issue is the running backs, like you need O line, you gotta start with the O line first to have a good running back. Like it's like Saquon. You see how talented he is, but the O line, if they can't block anyone, then like you can't allow your superstars to be superstars, basically.
Yeah, I get that. I agree 100% too. I don't know what Drake does when there's no guys to block for him.
Exactly. They traded I think they traded one like Trent Brown to the Patriots.
Rodney Hudson too.
Yeah, Rodney Hudson and Gabe Jackson. Sorry.
Crazy.
I'll cut that out.
Bless you. First ever podcast sneeze.
Yeah. Yo, write that down.
All right. Well, my one loser that I have is the Chicago Bears.
Okay. I like that.
No one knows what they're trying to do. All the talk was about, Deshaun Watson. Oh, Russell Wilson. Who'd they get? They got Andy Dalton.
I know. How do you settle for Andy Dalton, man?
He is massively overrated.
I know. He's
That's about
solid. It. He's like borderline top 30 QB in my eyes. Like he'd be a very, very low end QB1 or very, very. He was the best backup in the league last year, but now that he's a starter, he's like one of the worst starters. I can see a Deshaun Watson trade to the Bears though. If he is to get traded, who knows? There's so much uncertainty right now. But if he is to get traded, I think it would be to the Bears. They have the pieces to trade, but I don't know.
How about a Khalil Mack for Deshaun Watson?
I don't know.
I'll count it out.
Khalil Mack and a couple firsts for Deshaun Watson. I do that, honestly. Both ways. It just, depends if Deshaun Watson doesn't get in like legal trouble.
For sure. All right, should we move on?
I had one other loser actually before we move on. Sorry. Okay. I just had the Giants. Like they put a bunch of money into offensive weapons, and it's kind of going back to whether or not Daniel Jones can be good. Like I think they got John Ross, Kyle Rudolph, and then obviously Kenny Gallaudet. But if Jones can't really get them the ball and have like successful offense, then they're not going to win. So, yeah.
It reminds me of the Broncos last year with Drew Lock, where if you paid attention to their draft, they took Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, and that one tight end that he played with in college, basically giving him the weapons, putting him in a position to succeed, and he totally failed.
I know that. I don't know what they're doing. Did they sign a quarterback or no? Or they just
They're just
rolling?
gonna ride it out with Drew Lock.
I don't know, dude, because he was a beast. His rookie season, he came in, but wait,
Last year they just figured him out.
is KJ Hamler the guy that played quarterback that one game, or is that someone else?
That was someone else.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
KJ Hamler is my guy from Penn State.
Hey,
Shout
represent.
out.
All right. Yeah. Did you want to get into the players hadn't been signed? I know like a couple of people off the top of my head, but
That's what I'm saying. I didn't write this stuff down, but off the top of my head, you got Jadeveon Clowney, who
that's
has
a big
dealt
one.
with injuries. You got Todd Gurley, who has dealt with injuries.
Yeah.
You got Richard Sherman, who has dealt with injuries. You got James Conner, who has dealt with injuries. I'm a copying machine right now. I'm a robot.
No,
who else has dealt with injuries?
Sorry, I was just looking up like the list of players that are still available.
You got Golden Tate, just old age. I'm assuming. Same with Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I don't know. Is your guess like Clowney just wants too much money, or like don't want to invest that much in him? You know, I don't know.
That's what I would say. I mean, look at who replaced him. Bud Dupree. Did you see how much they gave Bud Dupree?
It's ridiculous, dude. I think Clowney's a little better too, in my opinion.
I would have to agree. One of them was a first round pick, right? First overall.
Oh, was Bud Dupree? Bud Dupree wasn't. Clowney was?
Nah, Clowney. Yeah, he was first overall
I think
pick.
that was like 2015 or something, right? Years ago?
I believe it was 14.
14? I remember him being like super hyped up. He was literally the first pick. I thought he was like second or third. What draft?
Double check.
Who else was in that draft class? I swear there was like a quarterback, like Johnny Manziel or someone was just drafted.
It was Manziel, Bridgewater, and Blake Bortles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
The worst class.
Yeah, it was that year. I remember. Because I don't know.
Clowney, round 1, pick 1.
Wow. And to who again? Who drafted him?
Houston Texans.
The Texans drafted him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he started with them, and then he went to the Seahawks and then the Titans.
Yeah, that was the year where Bill O'Brien was doing every single trade that he got offered.
Yeah, that was bad.
It's like this dude got a trade offer and just instantly accepted it. Like, no questions asked.
Exactly. Do you think what about Antonio Brown? Where do you see him going?
Maybe Miami, honestly. Like, I feel like he has a house down there. I don't know why. I feel like he does.
Yeah,
but
he doesn't.
It's Miami, for Christ's sake.
Exactly.
And they need some receivers.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Tampa Bay is like a good place for him too, because like Brady, I think Brady help him keep his head on straight and focused. You know. I don't know. I think he should re-sign with Tampa Bay. I don't know why they haven't yet. I feel like they would have by now if they were serious about re-signing him, you know?
I don't know if they have enough money, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because he's gonna want more. I'm looking at the prediction right now, they're saying 1 year, $5 million. And I guess that's probably just because the free agency market's dead right now. But yeah. There's also
anyone else.
Where could you see Richard Sherman going?
I made a video about this the other day, actually.
Oh yeah, because I meant to check that out. I saw him recommended, but
I didn't say where he should go at the end. Like I didn't really have a thought in mind, to be honest.
Yeah.
But what I said, I think he's gonna get signed after the drafts. Like, so when a team needs extra depth, they'll just call him up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that if I was him, I would sign with the first team who called. But I don't know who it's gonna be. I'm not sure who's weak at defensive back right now. I know the Steelers are, but they already have their old man defensive back who's Joe Hayden. Yeah,
Joe Hayden. That's right. I think, honestly, if the Cowboys have money, like I could see Clowney or Sherman going there. Like they should go there. I don't know.
That's fair.
Cool to see like Dak Prescott win. This is a random question I just thought of, but who do you see winning the NFC East next year? Now that we're like pretty much done with free agency.
The Washington football team repeats.
Really?
Curtis Samuel and Ryan Fitzpatrick, they were my 1 and 2 on underrated signings. Just made them better all around as a team. I think they retained like a lot of their defense.
Mm-hmm.
Got a solid offensive line. solid skill position players.
I'm
I
like
don't know, man.
I'm pretty high on Prescott. I don't know. I can see him taking them to like a whopping 9-7. Like winning the division by like getting 9-7 or something, and the football team just finishing like 8-8 or something. Like that's what I envision.
The problem that I have with that is, like, I would say Cowboys too, but I just don't know how hard ACL is to come back from.
Right. Or wasn't his ankle or something?
Something like that. Oh my God. I'm on 10.
Oh boy.
I'm on 10%.
You'll love to see it. And
Yeah, I
then
don't know if it was ankle or not.
I think he like snapped his ankle or something. Yeah, I think the article I'm looking at right now is a little older, saying T.Y. Hilton's still available, but they're also saying Mitchell Schwartz, which he was a no tackle for. Wasn't he released by Kansas City? I could be
Yeah,
wrong. And this may not be updated because this is March 23rd, and I don't know if he's signed by then, but I don't know. Any team that needs offensive line help could use them.
for sure.
Yeah,
Let's see who else is still out there.
Mm.
How you feel about Marquise Goodwin? Is he signed yet anywhere?
He was the guy on the 49ers, right? Like the very fast receiver.
Yeah.
I don't really know where he could go. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't go back with the 49ers. I don't really know too much about him, but yeah. Yeah, sorry. I'm like, I
Am
don't.
I going for you?
All right.
We have another Steeler because I mentioned
Oh.
James Conner earlier, but this is Alondra Villanueva, offensive
He was in
tackle.
the military,
I
right?
honestly don't think he's that good. Yeah, correct. Honestly, I think he's regressed over time, but I think he can still start somewhere. So, the Chiefs just let two those tackles go,
Right.
Fisher and Schwartz. So, replace him with Villanueva. I don't know. What do you
Yeah,
think
they
about
got
that?
Joe Tooney, but I think Villanueva could definitely help them. Did Villanueva make a Pro Bowl, or am I like mistaken? I swear he made like one
I
Pro
believe
Bowl.
so.
Yeah.
I believe he did.
But what teams do you think is best fit for James Conner then?
It's a good one. I'd have to say either the football team or Miami, and not even to start, just like to be another guy there, like for depth.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you go to the football team, you're going to sit behind Gibson. Miami, he was Miami's leading back. Is it Miles Gaskin?
Yeah, Miles Gaskin.
I don't know. I
think yeah.
I guess he would sit behind Miles.
They also had this.
But there was a rumor
Kareem.
way early on in free agency about him going to
Conner.
James Conner. Yeah, there was a rumor of him to Miami like really early on, but nothing ever came of it.
That's interesting.
All right, go ahead.
I'm trying to think where else. Maybe like what about no, I thought about the Ravens or the Giants, but that wouldn't really make sense because they got Barkley and Gallman, and then they got Dobbins and Gus Edwards. I really don't know. Like the Bengals maybe to go with Joe Mixon because they lost Giovanni Bernard. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they just let Gio go.
I know it's sad.
Shout out to that guy. Every single time that the Steelers played the Bengals last year, he would get like a 2-yard gain. And I would say, oh, yeah, you would have got more yards if you weren't 5'7". I said that after every single play last year.
That one hits home. I'm 5'7", so.
Are you actually?
Yeah, I'm 5'7".
You're an inch taller than me.
Really?
I don't know if I'm done yet, though.
Yeah, I might be done growing. Who knows? But fun fact, with the Bengals releasing Giovanni Bernard, James White is the longest tenured running back with one team. It's
actually
been 7 years. Yeah, 2014,
wow.
I think. It's kind of a weird fact. It just shows you how much running backs are like in and out.
Yeah, they're so replaceable. That's a crazy fact, though.
Yeah, I was like, that kind of caught me by surprise. I was like, wow, think about it. He has been with our team for a lot of it. I'm trying to remember if he was there. I'm sure he was for that Super Bowl against the Seahawks, which was 2014.
Yeah, he probably was.
Yeah,
I got one for you. You know who the second longest tenured Steeler is behind Ben Roethlisberger?
Okay, wait.
You probably never heard of this guy, if my math is correct.
Yeah, if I haven't heard of him, then I don't know. But
all right, if my math is correct, actually no. Second would be Cam Hayward, but third is my boy Jordan Dangerfield.
Oh, you told me about him before, but I don't.
The greatest special teams player. He's like Minka's backup, but like never plays.
Oh, okay.
He's like your version of what's
Matthew Slater.
His name? Slater, yeah.
Yeah, Slater's so good. He makes the Pro Bowl like every year. It feels like.
For sure.
Dangerfield, or is he like not made a Pro Bowl?
I don't think he's made a Pro Bowl, but he is the captain of our like special teams.
That's cool though. How long?
Like he does like the coin toss and stuff. 2012.
2012. Wow. I think Slater's like 20, around there. 2014 maybe. who knows? But yeah,
Cool to see guys like that, like the lesser known people there, you know?
exactly. Like they get the special teams recognition because it's a big part of the game. Can decide a game like
For sure.
Or a field goal.
That was us with Tyler Matakevich, but then he abandoned us for Buffalo.
Wow, that's tough. Oh yeah, is Ray Mcleod too? He's like a good special teamer for you guys, right?
Yeah, no, I hate him.
Really? Because I like fumbled a few times. I was going through like the Steeler game highlights, and he fumbled like often. It seemed like.
Yeah, he is a punt returner, right? Can't even catch the ball. But here, I'll tell you what though. Getting back on the free agency topic, we brought in 2 specialists to compete with him.
Really? Because I saw that you guys brought back Ray Mcleod though. I think
that's actually kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did. So we brought in a guy named Matthew Sexton who played in the MAC. If you know what conference that is in college football, the MAC.
Not really. No, I don't really watch college football.
Anyways, it's Mid-American Conference. Like Ben Roethlisberger came out of there. Deontay Johnson came from there. Anyways, half of our roster is from that division in college. So that's why we brought this guy here. It's a weird Mike Tomlin thing. And then this other dude, Tyler Simmons, know nothing about him. But I guess we brought him in to compete with Ray. So could he take his job?
I made a Ray Mcleod highlights just for you because you requested it like months ago.
Oh yeah, I did.
That should be coming out this weekend at some point. I'm telling you, it was wasn't the longest video.
Wasn't a minute long.
Yeah, probably like I think it was a minute and a half, but it was only like somewhat long because the punt return like highlights are like 15 seconds almost, and only took like six or so highlights. And he had like a few.
Wait, I'll say my piece about him. He had 2 really great punt returns, right?
Yeah.
But the man that tackled him both times was the freaking punter. Punter.
Yeah. That's
against
so
the Titans and the Bengals. You let the punter tackle you.
That's like all you literally half the time you literally just have to like slow up and just like fake one way and burst and speed the other. Like it's just like I don't know, just to let the punter because half the time the punter just like falls over or is out of the play,
Well, there's my daily or annually going in on a player. First, Grant Williams. Second, Gregory Polanco. Third, Ray Mcleod.
Oh wow, who's gonna be next? We'll see. But
what's the topic gonna be?
I don't know. Well, we should reach out to people and I don't know. Maybe that could be something if people want to hear us talk about something sports related or anything like for future episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, do you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
I think I'm good. You got anything else?
No, I think I'm all good. So, guys, that wraps up the 3rd episode of the Crunch Time podcast. Be on the lookout for more. We're posting every Wednesday. Check out our links in the description, all of them. Follow all our socials and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching and peace out.
Peace.